Hi everyone, welcome back to Farmer's Wife Homestead. I'm Stacey if this is the first time we're meeting, and gosh, it has been a while. Now I'm going to be right off the bat and say that I did record a different video yesterday. It was the chocolate eclair video finally, and I tell you what, it's the first time I've abandoned a video in my career on YouTube. I will still bring it to you, but I wasn't happy with the recipe. So yeah, it's not that it failed, it was still really good. I just wasn't happy with the whole video and everything. And you know me, I show failures and all the rest, and we troubleshoot together. Yeah, so just letting you know, I did have a video almost already, and then I decided to scrap it. But we will be making that one again shortly. So today is upload day, and I've decided to do the Q&A that I was supposed to do a couple of weeks ago, so let's get straight into it. Thank you for your patience. I've had a couple of weeks, off, and I really needed it, so it's been really good for me. Right, straight into the questions. I've got my little book here. We had questions on community post and on a video, I think. So some of them I have names for, some of them I don't. So first one up, Storm says she wants to know what my horse's name is and common breeds in New Zealand. So my horse's name is Sumatra, and I have had her roughly 8 years, and I've been living on the farm for almost 9 years, just coming up 9 years. So I've had her for 8 years. She was a rescue horse. She is an ex-racehorse, so she's called a thoroughbred. And she actually did quite well as a racehorse and won quite a bit of money, and then she was put in to be a broodmare, and unfortunately she lost 3 foals, so they decided that she wasn't any good as a broodmare. And I don't know the backstory, but I know that she was rescued because she was being ill-treated and things like that. And a little fact about her is she can't neigh, because apparently she was kicked in the throat as a foal, and she tries to neigh but no sound comes out. So poor Sumatra can't neigh. And she lives in a huge big hill paddock along with a steer that is a pet. Alright, so, and Storm also, the common breeds in New Zealand. Well, we have loads of different breeds. It depends on what you're looking for. So there's another horse on the farm. He's a standard bred. Well, no, he's an ex-trotter actually. Yes, he's an ex-trotter. You can have standard breds, you can have thoroughbreds, like I said, Hanoverians, Arabs, Palominos, you name it. There's a whole lot of different. Well, Palomino, I don't know if is it a breed or is it colour? It is a breed. I should know. I've had horses since I was 10 years old. So anywho, she also would like to know what I like to eat if I'm too tired to cook. So that's one of the reasons why I have started that new series, the sort of 15-20 minute quick cook easy meals, and I still have loads of those coming, so I've been enjoying using those. One of my favourite, because she asked if you didn't have any freezer meals, apart from if you know, having freezer meals in the oven, in the freezer is really good. The ramen noodles were really good. I really enjoyed putting that video together, and so good. So I like to do breakfast for dinner. So if I'm tired and I need to put dinner on the table, breakfast for dinner is excellent. I've always got everything available, and as long as I've got a bit of bacon in the fridge, which we usually do, you've got some hash browns if you want hash browns, some homemade baked beans from my preserves up here, and some eggs. So Brinner, I call it Brinner, breakfast for dinner. What's another one? Mac and cheese, really quick and easy. A lot of pastas are really quick and easy. A favourite at the moment is omelettes, and another favourite of both hubby and mine not the healthiest at all, but definitely one that is one of our favourite is either wedges, loaded wedges, or loaded chips. Let me know if you want to see both of those. I wouldn't call them recipes because they're not, but if you want to see how we do loaded wedges and loaded chips, let me know, because that is definitely something that we use if we are in a pinch, and it is so yummy. Lovely flavours, but like I said, it's not the healthiest for you. Marie asks, do I cook ox tongue? No, I don't do offal, ox tongue. Hubby would probably like all that sort of stuff, but yeah, I don't go there, so I can't give any advice on ox tongue and things. I know many people like to eat it, but not me. Yeah, I'm not that nose to tail. I wish I was, but yeah, I just can't get my head around it. Erin would like to know dry mixes and milk powder expiry. Okay, so that's a good question. So what I would normally do is you could write, so your milk powder would be one of the ingredients that would have an expiry date for your dry mixes. So you would put on your jar the expiry date of your milk powder, and then you know when it expires. So whatever expires first would be the expiry date that you put on your dry mixes. However, I've had dry milk powder that has been a couple of years over expiry, and it has been perfectly good. As long as you have kept it in a very good condition and without air to it, and in a bucket or whatever you have, then it's fine to have it. You could also freeze it. It freezes very, very well. And that's probably something that I should do, which is to store it in the freezer, and then you've got it on hand at all times. I hope that answers that question. Jessica, have I always lived rurally? What do I love and hate about it? Right, so I first lived on a farm when I was 10 years old. Obviously the family. My dad decided that he wanted to be a farmer, and we lived in the Wairarapa, and that's when my love of being rural started. And then we lived mostly for the rest of my childhood on farms, with a small stint in town, which I absolutely hated. Then for the rest of my adult life, all I wanted to do was to be rural again and live a rural life. And sometimes we did, sometimes we had rentals in the rural setting with paddocks and things like that. But on the whole, I did live a lot in the city. And once my first marriage broke up, I always wanted to live rurally. I always wanted to bring up my kids rurally and things like that, and I had dreams of being a farmer's wife. Hence the name of my channel is Farmer's Wife Homestead, because I always wanted to be a farmer's wife, and then I was lucky enough to become a farmer's wife. So that sort of runs into another question by Erin, which was, did hubby have the farm beforehand, and was it hard to get used to farm life? So that was another question, so I'll just answer that at the same time. He was already on this property, and yeah, so I joined him and his family, and so it wasn't hard for me to be rurally, because I've always been a rural kind of a person, and I absolutely love it. If I had to live in town, I would live in town, but I prefer to be out in the country. It's just me. I love being in my gumboots. Don't get me wrong, I love high heels. Probably not so much now. I weigh so much that it'd be really uncomfortable, but I used to have a beautiful, beautiful collection of high heels when I was younger. I would definitely not try and wear them now with my knees. So yeah, so it wasn't hard to get used to living in rural setting. Top 10 favourite recipes from the channel. So I've jotted down a few of them. So it was very, very hard, and I've probably forgotten 100 of them. I've got over 270 videos now. Chocolate cherry trifle, so good. I will try and link these videos in the description. chocolate cherry trifle is, I think I'm going to have to make it this year. I didn't make it last year. I'm going to have to make that. The viral pasta, absolutely love that that video. Tortellini bake, I use it all the time. It's a really quick meal to get on the table. I love all soups, so any of the soup videos I enjoy. The lemon curd pav that I made last year, that's also one of my top favourite recipes. Preserving, any of the preserving recipes, you know, the beetroot relish, tomato relish, barbecue sauce, all the pantry, you know, those types of recipes. I love having those, and I use them time and time again. Potato bake is one of my favourite. I'm a potato girl, bread and potato girl, as if you can't tell. But I don't actually eat a lot of bread. I try to stay away from it as much as I can. It just depends if I'm baking it at the time. But yeah, potato bake, done that recipe on the channel. Love that. The savouries and sausage rolls, another favourite of my recipes and video. The French onion soup, I haven't made it on the channel yet. It is in my ebook, which is also linked and can be found on my website, and that was my most favourite. It even overtook the corn chowder and the creamy chicken, which has always been my two top favourite soups. The French onion soup has surpassed it, sorry. Let me know if you want to see that recipe, and I will do that recipe for you. And chicken teriyaki slow cooker video. There was loads, there was 5, I think, slow cooker recipes. They were beautiful shut the front gate recipes as well. Alright, next question. Karen would like to know, can you use other things to thicken, so example, rice flour and things like that? Yeah, sure, absolutely. If you can't use flour or corn flour, they are absolutely fine. You can use potato starch, arrowroot powder, but just, you know, give it a quick Google if you're not sure, and yeah, that will give you an answer as well. But she also asked if why her mum put baking paper on top of the jars. Now, I'm assuming you mean she put, when she was preserving, she'd put the preserves in there, baking paper, and then screwed on the lid. I'm assuming that's what you mean. And if she did that, why she would have done that is possibly because if you've got vinegar in your preserve, it helps to contain the vinegar from going onto the lid and corroding the lid. So I imagine that's probably why she did it. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody out there, if you think that there's another reason why, but I think it's to do with corrosion of lids with especially vinegary type preserves. Maureen asked about juices and smoothies. No, I don't. I find that juices are very high in sugar and you need a lot of fruit to make juices. There's the odd occasion, mostly if anybody's sick in the house, that I will buy fruit juice, but on a whole I just drink plain water, and that's pretty much, once in a while I'll get like some cans of fizzy to have as a drink, a treat sort of thing, but on the whole I pretty much drink water. I don't drink milk. I don't mind it if it's heated up in a sauce like macaroni or cheese sauce, but I don't drink milk, so therefore I don't do smoothies. I just hate the taste of milk. Probably one of the reasons why I don't drink coffee. Yes, shock horror, I do not drink coffee. And I've had coffee shops. Tony, what do I do to relax and have time for? What do I do to relax? Okay, so hubby and I, we love to, at the end of the day, once we've both finished work and I've made dinner, we will usually watch a movie or a series that we are into at the time. So we relax and watch a bit of TV together. I like to read. I love to get out in the garden. Physically, it's been hard for me to do that the last few years, but this year I've got a garden video coming up shortly. I have definitely made a huge effort in getting back into the garden and also I'm super excited because my brother is going to come over and give me a hand in my garden, so I can't wait for that. So yeah, to answer that, that's pretty much what I like to do. I've had little hobbies here and there, but I don't know. I know how to knit, I know how to sew. I've done, I haven't done crocheting. I love jigsaw puzzles. I've done embroidery. What's it called? You get a photo album and you put photos in it. Scrapbooking, I've done that. I've had a million different hobbies over the years. Candle making. I would love to get into soap making. Right, what made me want to start a channel, and what would I do differently if I was to start today? I have answered this one before, and it is, I started the channel because I found that I was watching a lot of overseas channels, mostly in America, and a lot of the products I couldn't get, and there wasn't a huge amount of people in New Zealand doing it at the time. If you don't know, I absolutely hate being in front of the camera. I hate my photo taken. I always have. My children will not have very many photos of me when I'm gone. They now have this channel, but yeah, I've never liked my photo, mostly because of my weight, but the biggest reason is my teeth. I've had bad teeth for forever, and especially since I've had 10, that's made them even worse. So yeah, for me, one of the biggest, and I'm actually quite shy. I'm really quite shy, even though I've done stage shows and I love acting and things like that. That's one thing I used to do when for relaxing, and I would love to get back into it again, but I just think I would have trouble learning lines nowadays. So I started the channel because I was like, I've always had a love of helping people. I've always volunteered in various different things from when my kids were small babies right up till recently. I would volunteer, and I just like teaching, I guess. So that's why I kind of started the channel, to do something similar but for Kiwis. And also my career as an ambulance officer was coming to an end, and I thought, well, what am I going to do with myself? So that's kind of why it started. Would I do anything differently now? No, probably start earlier. It took me ages to get my first videos up because I felt so self-conscious. Yeah, so would I do anything different? I would try and get a thicker skin. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have struggled massively in the last couple of months, since September, with my YouTube channel. You probably have figured that out, some of you. And it's mostly because the trolls have got worse and worse and worse. And it has affected my mental health. It has affected my confidence. And that's why I've taken a couple of breaks away, because I really did need to decide whether I wanted to carry on with this. As much as I love doing it, and as much as, 99% of you are so incredible. I get personal emails from people all the time, and I'm sorry I cannot answer all these emails that I get. I'm one person and I simply cannot answer them all, but I get some amazing, beautiful emails that just, they made me cry. Some of the, sorry, I'm just gonna, some of the lovely emails that you send me to say how much I help you, I really appreciate it, and that fills my teacup, as my mum would say. And I really appreciate getting those emails to say, just how much my videos mean to you, and that I can make a difference really means the world to me. So anyway, I better stop on that subject. So thank you. Shell Bell, where do I get my inspiration for my meals? A lot of it is just meals that I make. I'll see something and I'll come up with my own ideas, or I'll adapt. I have a huge recipe collection. I love collecting cookbooks. I loved Love going thrifting. That's another hobby, I guess you could say, and looking at old cookbooks. I've got a bookshelf that's just absolutely laden, and I'll flick through recipes and get inspiration from them. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Most of it is all just, I just wing it and make up things as I go along. That's how I've always cooked. What Michelle would like to know, what makes a shut the front gate recipe? Great question, because there is definitely times where I've gone, oh, shut the front gate. And I can taste it, but you guys can't taste it. So what makes it shut the front gate? When I wiggle, when I'm doing this, when it makes my taste buds just go, wow, I'm loving this. You see it often. That's how I can explain what the shut the front gate recipe is. A shut the front gate recipe to you might be something different. But to me, it's that I'm sure you can identify with that. So I hope that answers your question, Michelle. Charlene would like to know, what age did I start preserving and what was the first thing that I preserved? So I was a mum at 18. First time mum at 18. I have a 35-year-old now. Sorry, Samantha. And I was married very early, very young age. So I started preserving pretty much probably the first year or two of me being a mum, and I started off with jams and relishes and chutneys, and that's mostly because I saw my grandmother making them. She made like grape jelly and things like that, and my mum would make some preserves as well. I don't think she was like massive on preserving. I know she tried making bottled spaghetti once and then everything exploded on her. So that was a funny situation to come home to after school. So it was just, I guess it comes back to the love of rural living, and possibly the fact that I was given Mum and Dad had a book called Self-Sufficiency. I've forgotten the name, John Seymour, and I read it from cover to cover, and I would read it several times a year. And they eventually brought me my own copy, and it would have preserves in there, plant identification, what to do with a 1 acre plot, what you could grow on a 5 acre plot, all that sort of stuff. And that's what gave me the love of gardening, farming. I wouldn't say cooking, that sort of just evolved. But yeah, so definitely jams, relishes and things like that. Actual preserving as in water bathing and pressure canning has only been a recent thing, probably in the last 5 or 6 years. Right, Debbie May asks, how can I make a chewy pav? She said that they flatten and they don't get very high. So to answer that, usually the chewy pav is underbaked a little bit. The longer you bake it, the drier it becomes. So if you underbake it, the outside will be, you'd be able to tap on it and it's dry, but the inside will still be chewy. So you are possibly underbaking it, and that will also mean that it will flatten and not go as high as well. That can be a cause. But also, if you find that they are flattened, they are going flat and not as high, is because you might not be doing the aeration part properly, like whipping up the egg whites. It's really important to get them to quite stiff peaks. Don't add the sugar too quickly. So get them, if you add sugar too quickly, you're not getting enough air into those egg whites, and it will flatten the mix. So I hope that answers that question. If not, please leave more questions down in the comment section and I will do my best to answer that. And we could always do another PAV session, baking scene. Christmas is coming up. Brandy snaps, I've always wanted to make them. I've seen my mum make them before. They look quite fiddly, but they're one of my husband's favourites. So who knows, maybe this Christmas season we might try making brandy snaps. So keep an eye out for that video. And gluten-free scones. Gluten-free is something that I really would like to get more recipes going. I probably should be gluten-free. I know gluten doesn't agree with me. If I go gluten-free and dairy-free, I lose a ton of weight. So yeah, that could be in my future soon. Barbie Chase, I think the name is Barbie Chase. Do I live in the North or the South Island? I live in the North Island, sort of in the top half of the North Island in the Waikato. Elaine asks if I will do a Q&A about recipes to be frozen leading up to a busy time of year, and can you freeze the slices that I've been, like the apricot slices, stuff like that. Yes, I've frozen them before and it's been absolutely fine. And to answer your question, a Q&A about recipes to be frozen leading up for a busy time of year. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, so please clarify. But I would just try and get ahead with things like freezer meals, get prepping veggies so that they're already cut and ready for you and having them in the freezer. Doing the roasted potatoes, that's another great recipe. Very simple but time saving, and they are the best roasted potatoes. They're very crispy. Having those on hand, and just pre-prepping as much as you can during the busy seasons. Paula asks about tomato relish, and yes, I have done a video on that. I will try and remember to link these videos down in the description so that you can find it. Otherwise, there's that little magnifying glass. You can search and just ask a question, and if I've done the video and it's in the title, it will come up. Erin, we talked about the farm and that sort of stuff. Alexis would like to know, she's going to be catering for 40 to 50 people next year, and it's going to be a garden picnic theme, sort of a tea party, and she wondered if I could give her some hints and tricks on that. So yeah, just like really plan ahead, and if it's going to be like a tea party garden picnic thing, you can do like savouries and things. I've got videos on that. I've got videos on different finger sandwiches that you can do. There's scone videos, pancakes, so you can do little wee pikelets. Gosh, what else? You could make bacon and egg pies, and you can make a lot of things and make them look fancy. And just think about your tablescape and stuff like that, and you want height on your table, not just everything flat. You could make lovely slices and biscuits, and just make them small, you know, because when you think tea party, everything's little and small. And there's a lot of things that you could possibly freeze ahead. A lot of the baking you might be able to freeze ahead, and things like that. But don't be overwhelmed. If you are wanting a little bit more help with that, I suggest emailing me. My email is always in the description, and we can chat over email if you want a more personal idea on what you can do, because I've catered for large crowds many times. Right, and Shop Pinky asked, this is the final question, my TN, she was saying if they remove my teeth, because she said it affects my jaw and stuff, if you remove my teeth, therefore removing the nerves, would that help with my TN? So TN, which is trigeminal neuralgia, which is basically your trigeminal nerve. It sort of runs in your forehead, down the side of your face. It sort of comes under your eye, and it runs down your jawline, right? So unlucky for me, I've got it bilateral, so I've got it on both sides. My left side isn't quite as bad, but my right side is the worst. So what it is it's not actually anything to do with your teeth. And in fact, it's a rare condition to have anyway, but a lot of people get teeth pulled out thinking it's something wrong with their teeth. It's not. What it is, it's a compression of your nerve and a blood vessel, and what happens is when blood, so imagine that being your blood vessel, and you've got blood pumping through all the time, every heartbeat, pump, 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 and you've got a nerve on that blood vessel, and your nerve obviously is, you know, like it gives pain and does a lot of other things. So every time so I've got a compression, so like they can be twisted around. So every time the blood goes pump, 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 and you've got a nerve there, that nerve is like duh, 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 duh. So it's setting off fires of your nerve, and that's basically what trigeminal neuralgia does. And that's why some people have type 1 and type 2, or they have both. I have both. So I can never remember which is which, where the type 1 is the continual pain and the type 2 is the flares, but I get both. So I've got the continual pain and the flares. So that's what it is. So I've got a compression somewhere up here in my brain, and what they have to do is put a piece of Teflon, just like your bakeware Teflon, but medical, in between that nerve and that blood vessel, so that it's not rubbing on, and every time that blood is coming through, and that's what fires off the nerve. So that's why when you're eating, when you're talking a lot, when you smile a lot, when you get stressed, stress really triggers me, because when you're stressed, you find that your muscles in your face, you tense. So for me, when I get stressed, I have to try and relax my muscles as much as possible, so that everything doesn't like fire off. Yeah, so removing my teeth is not going to make any difference. The reason why my teeth are bad is, one, I've got a condition that I've had all my life that makes my teeth bad, but also because brushing your teeth is also one of the, pain factors of it. It's not to say that I don't brush my teeth, because I certainly do brush my teeth, but it's just one of those things is that I probably don't brush them as long as I possibly, the 2 to 3 minutes, because I just know that that's going to really set off my pain indicators and stuff. So it's along with dental work and things like that. It really hurts. And when you are in constant pain 24/7, getting dentist work done is really scary, and you don't want to inflict more pain than what you're already in. I had a tooth pulled several years ago, and I had to be put under just for them to pull it. So yeah, at the end of the day, I've got to get work done on them at some point, but they're holding in for now, and I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. So I hope that answers that question. If you've got any more questions about trigeminal neuralgia, please let me know, and I will try and answer that as well. All right, that's enough talking in one sitting for me. Hopefully you are here at the end. Leave me a thumbs up or a heart emoji or a comment to let me know that you sat through this entire thing. I find it very hard talking about myself, but these are genuine questions that you guys have, and as I said, I like to do them twice a year, so that any new people can sort of ask me questions that they might not know about me. Yeah, so thank you for being here. I will see you next Sunday. It's probably going to be a bit of a freezer meal video, and we've got loads and loads of content coming up with the busy season coming up. We've got 2 new ebooks on the way. We've got the home pantry, and we've got Christmas baking and desserts. That's coming up as well, and I look forward to getting those out to you in the coming weeks. All right, as ever, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your support, and I hope to see you on the next one. All right, bye for now.